Friends, today I'm going to share a story based on a true event. It begins with a man named Yossi Ginsburg. Hailing from Israel, Yossi served 3 years in the army before heading off to Bolivia in search of something different. As the story opens, he's aboard a boat making his way toward a vast island that lies ahead. Just beyond the island is the dense Amazon rainforest. During this adventure, Yossi meets Marcus, a cheerful schoolteacher. The two quickly become close friends. Eventually, they make their way into the island's jungle. While exploring a village there, Marcus unexpectedly runs into his old friend Kevin, a photographer. The reunion fills both with joy. Marcus introduces Kevin to Yossi, and the two instantly hit it off. That night, after lots of laughter and shared stories, the group settles down to sleep. The next morning, October 15th, 1981, Yossi, Marcus, and Kevin catch a bus to continue exploring. Their journey takes them to La Paz, a nearby city buzzing with life. A large fair is underway, and they spend the entire day immersed in its vibrant atmosphere. The following day, while walking around the city, Yossi meets a man named Carl. Carl asks if Yossi is American. Yossi says no, and they sit down for ginger tea. Carl says he's from Australia and has lived in the jungle for many years. He offers Yossi the real adventure he's been seeking. He talks about a hidden tribe deep in the forest with a culture thousands of years old. According to Carl, the place is unlike anything in the modern world, full of peace and mystery. Yossi feels excited after hearing all this. That evening, he shares everything with his friends Marcus and Kevin. At first, they're unsure. Carl is a stranger, why should they trust him? But Yossi insists, saying they'll witness things beyond imagination. After some thought, Marcus and Kevin agree to go. The next morning, Carl shows them a map and explains the route. The journey will be tough, so the group prepares by gathering supplies and getting ready for the challenge. November 14th, 1981, arrives. The group boards a small plane, flying to a polo near the edge of the dense Amazon rainforest. From there, they begin on foot, walking and talking throughout the day. As night falls, they set up tents, light a fire, and eat dinner together. Then, they go to sleep. The next morning, everyone wakes up in good spirits and continues deeper into the forest. They've now entered a dense part of the jungle. The plants are so sharp and dangerous that even brushing against them can cut the skin and cause bleeding. Carl warns the group to hurry, saying rain is coming. Kevin glances at the clear sky and jokes there isn't a single cloud. How could Carl know? The others laugh too. But just as Carl predicted, heavy rain begins suddenly. The group is forced to stop and set up camp. Their clothes and bags get soaked, and most supplies are ruined. They struggle to stay dry and warm, but somehow get through the night despite the miserable conditions. The following morning, they continue walking and finally reach their first checkpoint, a Caraimus. When they arrive, Yossi, Kevin, and Marcus notice the villagers seem to know Carl well. It's obvious he's visited many times before. The village is small but peaceful. People there live happily without internet, phones, or social media, completely disconnected from the modern world. After spending some time enjoying the peaceful atmosphere, the group continues deeper into the jungle. They walk through the forest until they reach a river. To make things easier, they decide to follow its path. While walking, Carl spots a monkey in the trees. He pulls out his gun and shoots it, planning to use it for food that night. As evening comes, they light a fire and cook the monkey. Carl eats without hesitation, but Kevin and Yossi are disgusted at first. Eventually, hunger takes over, and they eat a little. Marcus, however, refuses. The smell and sight make him sick, and he starts vomiting. Seeing Marcus' condition, Carl tries to comfort him. "Don't worry," he says. "I'll cook rice for you instead." The next morning, they continue the journey, but something terrible happens. Marcus gets injured. Both legs are badly hurt and bleeding. He's in so much pain, he can't walk anymore. The group decides to stop walking and travel by river using a boat. Carl strongly disagrees. He warns them the river is dangerous, full of fast waves and strong currents. But Kevin and Yossi, worried about Marcus, insist they have no other option. Seeing their determination, Carl finally agrees, though he's clearly unhappy. They work together to cut down trees and tie logs, building a makeshift raft. At first, it seems like it might work. But as they go deeper into the river, things worsen. The current grows stronger, the waves more violent, and the raft harder to control. Carl starts shouting directions, telling them to steer right, not left. But the river is too powerful. The raft spins and bounces in all directions. Even Carl, once confident, begins to panic and loses control. Eventually, they manage to reach the shore, but tensions boil over. Kevin gets angry, blaming Carl for poor guidance. Carl, furious and frustrated, snaps. He tells them he's done being their guide. If they want to continue by boat, they'll have to do it without him. From now on, he says, he's no longer responsible. After a while, things settle down within the group. Kevin and Yossi sit together and begin talking. Kevin tells Yossi he wants to keep traveling down the river. After some thought, the three friends make a decision. Carl and Marcus will head back and wait, while Kevin and Yossi continue the journey by boat. Marcus agrees, though it's difficult for him. Before parting ways, the three friends make a promise they'll reunite in La Paz after the journey, and everything will return to how it was. With that, Yossi and Kevin take their boat to the river and continue onward. Days pass, then weeks. The two manage to travel smoothly for quite a while. It's now been over a month since their adventure began. Then comes December 1st, the day everything changes. The boat floats calmly at first, but suddenly the water turns rough. The current grows stronger, the waves wild. They try steering, but the flow is too strong. The boat speeds forward and slams into a huge rock in the middle of the river. The impact is intense. The boat gets stuck, and both of them are left struggling, panicked and unsure what to do. The waves crash violently. Yossi is terrified. Kevin spots the shore not far away and tells Yossi he's going to swim to it, then come back. Yossi begs him not to go, scared and desperate not to be left alone. But Kevin promises he'll return and jumps into the river. With great effort, Kevin swims to the shore. He tries to return to help Yossi, but before he can, Yossi's hand slips. The current grabs him and pulls him away. Kevin watches helplessly as his friend is swept downriver. He screams in frustration and despair, but there's nothing he can do. Yossi is carried far away by the raging water. When Yossi finally regains consciousness, he finds himself clinging to a rock as the current calms. He manages to crawl to shore. In front of him stands a massive mountain. With effort, he climbs up and begins shouting Kevin's name, hoping he's nearby. But in the endless forest, the two friends are now completely separated. By nightfall, it starts to rain. Cold and exhausted, Yossi curls up on a stone and falls asleep under the open sky. The next morning, he's woken by the sound of metal clinking. He rushes to the river and sees something floating. It's his backpack. As it nears, he jumps in and grabs it. Inside, he finds a few vital things: his map, some food, and an energy pill called Superman. He takes one and suddenly feels a burst of energy, forgetting hunger and thirst for a while. He starts running, calling for Kevin as he moves across the mountain. Eventually, he reaches the forest's edge, but Kevin is nowhere in sight. Using the map, Yossi marks a path and picks a point to head toward. He spends the night there, hoping he's closer to rescue. Days pass. Yossi is now deep in a part of the Amazon rainforest few, if any, have ever entered. 6 days go by. He walks alone in pain, feet badly wounded. He hasn't eaten a proper meal in days. One day, while walking, he spots a snake in a tree. With the little strength left, he knocks it down and eats it raw. That night, his mind starts to fracture. He dreams of burgers and delicious food. Hunger drives him to hallucinate. He swallows another Superman pill to push on, but the side effects kick in. His thoughts grow tangled. He sees and hears things that aren't real, slipping deeper into a haze between reality and delusion. One night, while trying to sleep, Yossi hears something nearby. As he looks up, a lion approaches. Terrified but quick thinking, he grabs a can from his bag, connects it to his fire spray, and blasts flames to scare it off. Miraculously, it works. The lion flees. Yossi survives the night. The next morning, he wakes starving. While trekking through the jungle, he stumbles on bird eggs and eats them. Day after day, he keeps moving, enduring pain and hunger. Eventually, he reaches a spot he recognizes, an early checkpoint marked on his map. But when he checks again, his heart sinks. His destination is still far miles away. Defeated, he tries to stay strong, whispering, "You're an explorer. You've got this. Someone will come." But another voice inside counters. "No one's coming. You'll die out here." Yossi tries to stay hopeful as he pushes forward, then notices footprints on the ground. A surge of joy fills him. Maybe Kevin was here. He calls his friend's name, sure he's close, but then spots broken eggshells. The harsh truth hits him. He's walking in circles. He's back where he started. Furious and heartbroken, he yells at himself, cursing his decisions. He remembers when his father wanted him to become a lawyer, but Yossi had insisted on a year to explore. That choice led him here, trapped in this nightmare. That night, he dreams of a lavish casino and a woman pouring water on him. But suddenly, he wakes. Real water is splashing on him. A powerful storm is raging. The slow Pizan is flooding, and he's about to be swept away. With great effort, he pulls himself from the water and finds any shelter he can. That night, Yossi completely breaks down. He sobs, finally understanding the dreadful reality. No one is coming to rescue him. The jungle stretches for hundreds of kilometers, and it's been 15 days. He's utterly alone, lost. Meanwhile, we finally see Kevin. He's weak and exhausted, lying on a riverbank. It's clear he's also been lost in the jungle for days. Fortunately, a local boy and his father find him and rush to help, bringing him to their small riverside village. There, Kevin slowly begins to recover. As soon as he regains some strength, he heads to the local police station and explains that his friend Yossi is still missing in the jungle. The police inform him the last known location of the two is nearly 100 kilometers from the village. Desperate to save Yossi, Kevin begs them to start a rescue mission. Soon, Kevin and an officer take off in a helicopter, flying over the endless green expanse. They search as much as they can, but the Amazon is too thick. Trees block the view, sunlight barely touches the ground. It's like hunting for a needle in a haystack. At that very moment, Yossi hears the chopper overhead. His heart races. He climbs a large rock, waves his red raincoat, and screams. But from above, nothing is visible. The helicopter flies past without stopping. Crushed and furious, Yossi hits his head in frustration. The moment he'd waited 15 days for rescue came and went. They didn't see him. He wasn't saved. That night, his mind starts to break. He sees visions of his friends and parents in dreams, drifting between hope and despair. He's mentally drained, physically broken. The next morning, something unexpected happens. Yossi wakes to find a tribal girl sitting silently beneath a tree, watching him. He approaches slowly, speaking gently, but she doesn't understand. She looks frightened. Using soft gestures, Yossi calms her, showing he means no harm. He begins to believe she's lost too, just like him, trapped in the same endless forest. Silently, he makes a promise to protect her. As they move together through the jungle, Yossi offers her food. She refuses. That small rejection shatters him. Tears spill from his eyes as he pleads, "Please eat. I'm starving. If you eat, it'll help me feel better." Moved by his desperation, she finally accepts. For a brief moment, Yossi feels a fragile comfort. That night, they sleep side by side on the forest floor. But when Yossi wakes the next morning, she's gone. He searches around, calling out, but there's no trace of her. Then the truth dawns: she was never real. Just a figment of his breaking mind. A hallucination born of hunger, fear, and aching loneliness. In the depths of isolation, the mind creates what it needs: someone to protect, someone to care for. But now, that illusion is gone, and the crushing silence of the jungle returns. After days of searching, the police begin to lose hope. They assume Yossi must be dead. But Kevin refuses to believe it. Deep down, he knows Yossi is still alive. He pleads with the officers, but they insist they've done all they can. Determined, Kevin says he'll continue alone if he must. Moved by his resolve, one officer finally gives him a lead: the name and location of a boatman. He tells Kevin his best shot now is to follow the river. Without hesitation, Kevin sets off, ready to do whatever it takes to find his friend. Meanwhile, in the jungle, 3 weeks have passed. Yossi wanders like a ghost, wounded, starving, barely clinging to life. His mind begins to slip. One day, he stumbles into a swamp. His body sinks. For a moment, he gives up. He doesn't fight. He's too weak, too broken. But then he sees his grandfather in a dream. Calm, firm, loving. His voice urges Yossi to fight. To live. That vision sparks something inside. With the last flicker of strength, Yossi drags himself from the swamp. But he's too drained to move further. His body collapses. He's fading, right at the edge of life. In one final act of desperation, Yossi lies beside a red ant nest, letting them bite him. The pain is excruciating. His body burns as he screams, hoping someone, anyone, might hear. His skin is torn, covered in wounds. Somehow, he drags himself to the riverbank. He's starving, weak on the edge of death. In front of him, a turtle appears. He thinks about killing it for food, but he can't. He just watches it, defeated. At this point, he doesn't want to eat or drink. He's shattered inside and out. That night, lying by the river, Yossi finally gives up. He looks at the sky and whispers, "I'm not fighting anymore. I'm part of this forest now." He accepts his fate. Then, something small, almost magical, happens. A butterfly lands gently on his hand. A silent sign. A flicker of hope. And with that, he collapses, unconscious on the riverbank. The next day, Kevin arrives with the boatman. He's still searching, still refusing to give up. But Yossi lies hidden between stones, motionless. Kevin doesn't see him. His heart breaks. He thinks Yossi might already be gone. Sadly, he turns the boat to leave. Just then, Yossi, barely conscious, hears voices. He staggers to his feet and waves. His throat is too dry to speak, but he smiles. Someone is finally here. Kevin turns, and he sees him, Yossi, alive. "Turn around!" Kevin shouts to the boatman. They race back. Kevin jumps from the boat, running to his friend. He hugs him tight, tears falling. "I told you," he says, choking up, "I wouldn't leave you." Kevin and the boatman bring Yossi back to their village, where he receives treatment and slowly begins to recover. As the story nears its end, the screen fades to black and text appears. It reveals that Kevin and Yossi eventually returned to La Paz, hoping Carl and Marcus would be there, but they never arrived. Later, they uncover a disturbing truth: Carl was a wanted criminal. He had lured other travelers into the jungle before, and none of them were ever seen again. The ancient tribe he spoke of? It was a complete fabrication. No one truly knows what Carl did to those people. Yossi Ginsberg's journey, his survival against impossible odds, soon spread across the globe. A story of pain, endurance, and the unbreakable will to live. And that is where this story ends.